Hi you guys, welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker and welcome to 2020's goals. Yeah, so hopefully 2 days ago I got 2019 what did I complete done and uploaded. I didn't hit my goals. I missed a lot, but it was a busy year. I'm cutting myself some slack. So, if you want to check that out, go for it. I'm not doing cards and info bars and all that stuff, but yeah, if you want to know what I completed in 2020, go to my playlist, or not my playlist, my videos thing. What am I hoping to accomplish in 2020? So this is going to be like last year. This isn't hard and fast, like I must do X, Y, and Z. This isn't to put pressure on myself. This is to help ease and guide my projects because I frequently don't know what I want to do. And this it's like using Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Bingo. Pippin, these are brand new moccasins. Leave my shoe alone. Sorry, he's still trying to like stick his entire body in my shoe. Minnetonka moccasins, my favorite, like around the house slipper shoes. But when I sit in the floor, I don't want to sit on top of my shoes, and I am definitely sitting in the floor. Oh my god! Now he's creeping up over here trying to steal stuff again. So these aren't hard and fast rules. These aren't things I have to live and die by. These are just goals in general to keep myself focused. I do the same thing with Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Bingo. When I don't know what to work on, I look at her bingo card as a inspiration point to see maybe do I have the yarn to do X, Y, and Z, or oh, I didn't think about doing that. Oh, this would be a good time to so it's not something, I don't live and breathe by the Yarn Bingo card. I'm not living and breathing by my goals. My goals are just to help me focus what I want to do this year. And I'm not really good at staying focused, obviously. If you've been with me for any length of time on this channel, you know I'm not good at staying focused. So number one, straight out of the gate, all crafting across the board, not just yarn, but paper crafting, stashes up with washi tapes and jewel drops and whatever else I have living in my craft room. I want to use 75 pounds. I want 75 pounds of finished objects total. Now that I have full access to my craft room for the entire year, that shouldn't be a problem. Because paper crafting gets really heavy really fast. I had 80 ounces of Christmas cards that went out this year. Just I want to make 15 preemie blankets. So, I mean, this size blanket, I mean, it's like the size of a tea towel. Certainly I can make 15 of these over the course of this year. I want to do 24 hats for donation, 10 blankets total. And I know that sounds like a lot, but my goal is already 15 preemie blankets, and I'm counting 2 preemie blankets as a blanket. So that gives me 7 right out of the gate. Then I'm going to make my dad a blanket for Christmas this year, and I already have the yarn for that and the pattern picked. I have my Granny Hexie project, which I should hopefully be able to finish this year. So that's 8, 9. I need to finish my unraveled mitten blanket, 10. My Jada and Stitches 2017 blanket, 11. And my 2019 blanket, 12. So that's 12 blanket projects I already have here started that I want to do. And 7 of them are preemie blankets. I should be able to do this. 400 cards. That doesn't mean I want to send 400 cards, but I want to have made 400 cards. I send out to immediate friends and family St. Patrick's Day cards, Easter cards, some birthday cards, but I'm really bad about sending birthday cards, Christmas cards, and Thanksgiving cards. Now, Christmas is my biggest send out. I send out, this year it was over 120 cards, mostly because you guys sent me beautiful cards and I wanted to reply or respond in kind in sending you cards. So I made over 130 cards. I think 400 is kind of reasonable, especially if I'm going to do Christmas cards again. I mean, that's 130 cards right there in a group. And I generally send out about 40 to 50 other holiday cards throughout the year. Oh, Halloween. I forgot about Halloween cards. So hopefully that's not being completely unreasonable. I just have to remember to count them as I finish them or count them as I do groups of them. I also want to gift out some of these sets of cards I do, because I have some that are like note cards that are 90% done, and I'd kind of like to just like finish those off, wrap a bow around them, and send them to friends to send out with their stuff. They're just cute, simple cards. Like, anyway, I would like to make 5 shawls, which shouldn't be, I mean, that's one of my go-to projects, and I've already got one started. That shouldn't be hard. I want to do my dad's Christmas blanket. I want to finish my cotton yarns to a point. I know I'm never going to use all of it, because even trying to use up everything I had, I still bought other cotton yarns or dish yarns in general. Some of it was scrubby yarn. Some of it was the Premier Home. I really like their speckled line. And particularly Pickle Splash is one of my like favorite colorways. So there are some home cottons that I actually like. And I know I'm going to keep some of those in my stash because they're pretty. And I like looking at the colors. Even the brands I don't like working with, they make beautiful colors. So I'm never going to be completely... Okay, not sure what that message was about. I'm never going to be completely out of dishcloth cotton, home cotton, things like that. But I do want it down to a project or two's worth. I don't need stores and stashes of cotton yarn in my room. I prefer buying it by project or buying it by design. And I do want to I mean, I'd like it to be to where it doesn't even take up a cube in my wall of stuff. This is what's left of what I started 2019 with. I'm going to go through that. The only other stuff I purchased this year are things like the scrubbies, the scrubby yarns, and Premier Home Cotton. That's all I bought this year. So I would like to at least get all the sugar and cream, peaches and cream, things like that out of my stash. Just completely. I'm going to circle back to yarn band because that's going to take a lot more discussion. I want to try brioche knitting still. That was on my list for 2019 that I just never got around to. So I would, well, that's not entirely true. I did try it. I just messed up the first time I tried it and decided to go to double knitting. I want to finish both of my Jada and Stitches blanket, which is part of what I mentioned before with blankets. I have the yarn to start a project for one of my stepsons, and I'd kind of like to get that out of my space because it's taking up a lot of room. I would like to do 15 scrapbook pages this year. I did not get any scrapbooking done. I watched my grandson a lot for the first half of the year, and during the daytime when I finish doing my housework, dinner's already prepped, that tends to be when I go to my craft room to work, the bulk of the time. When Troy's home, I generally spend time with him, so I'm knitting and crocheting. But if I want to do paper crafting, I generally try to set time aside during the week to do that when he's not home. And for the first half of the year, I didn't have that option. And then about 2 weeks after I quit watching my grandson during the day is when we started the transition to move. So as we were trying to sell the house, I couldn't do paper crafting like I normally would. So I would like to get at least 15 pages done. And I'm saying pages, not layouts, because I have some trip pictures that would be multiple page layouts. If I can just get everything from the Japanese gardens and the rose garden and Portland done, I mean, that's 15 pages. This year I am going to track my yarn in grams, and I will convert to pounds at the end of the year. But I also want to track my yardage used, and I think that would be a lot of fun as I check in with you guys every quarter to say, so far I've used enough yarn to stretch from Charlotte, North Carolina to Miami. Weird things like that. So I do want to track my yardage this year, and my goal is to use 50,000 yards, which sounds like a lot, but one of my other goals this year is to use 25 hanks of sock yarn. And that's 450 yards for every 100 grams. And that's 3.5 ounces. So, yeah, I'm just saying 50,000 yards sounds like a lot, but is it really? And especially with the number of blanket projects I have. I mean, so for 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, you're looking at anywhere from 200 to 300 yards of worsted weight yarn. And like my mom's blanket took 16 balls. I mean, it adds up pretty fast, and especially when you're looking at the amount of fingering weight yarn I want to use. I mean, that's so I'm okay with that. Once again, 6 pairs of socks. I know I can do a pair of socks every other month. Even if it's a sock a month, I know I can get this goal done. And once again, I have some not fingering weight yarn I want to use for some socks. I want to finish my peppermint blanket. I keep forgetting about the bloody thing. I started it 2, 3, 4 years ago, and it keeps getting hidden. I started it before we moved to our house, Beaver Dam house in Columbia. That was the last place we lived in South Carolina, the house we just moved from. I started it a year before we moved. And when Troy got home from Baton Rouge, he spent 6 months working in Baton Rouge and us going back and forth over that 6-month period. When he got back, I had already started it. But that's also the year I did my Doctor Who blanket. And yeah, then we moved. It got hidden. It's all over the place. It's in sections all over the place. I really just want to get that blanket done. I'm not that far away from it. I'm like 40% in. I really want to get my peppermint blanket done. So the last thing on here I wanted to discuss with you guys is my yarn ban. So my group of friends and I, some are calling it a yarn ban, some are calling it a sabbatical, some are just calling it a no buy or low buy. There's some rules for our group. Then there are my personal rules. So the biggest rule for our group is if you want something, you have to offer a trade first in the group. Or, I mean, outside of the group. I mean, if nobody in the group has it, but so-and-so has it, we can trade that way. So first rule is you have to seek trade first. If you're in the middle of a project and you need a ball to finish your project, you can go out and get that. If nobody has it to trade, there's no problem just going out and buying it. I did have a couple projects coming up this year where I needed vast quantities of yarns, so I just went ahead and bought them leading into this year because I knew these are things I needed. If you buy yarn, okay, if you buy yarn and you do not seek trade first, and this is just a stashing yarn that you're putting in your stash, you have to give away an equal amount to what you buy. Now, this seems to have some debate, but I'm doing mine 1 for 1. And it's because I'm not only doing a yarn ban, I'm doing a paper ban too. And to be honest, nobody's participating with me in the paper ban, so but yeah, some people in the group are doing it. You have to give away 1 ball per person participating, but as we don't really have a participation list, I don't know how we're going to track that. With the paper pads and paper packs that I keep buying, if I buy one to just have it and I'm not immediately using it for something, I have to give away an equal pad. And this is perfect because Becky at Funny Farm Crochet just got back into paper crafting and got her Cricut and stuff like that. So I'm getting an intense amount of messages this morning. Even though my phone's on silent, they're still rather distracting. I'm also kind of including, but not as stringently in my crafting ban, things like stickers, ephemera, enamel dots. These are all things I have in my stash that I really need to be using up. And I've mentioned this over and over. I really need to start using up some of my stuff because yarn almost never goes bad if you store it well and properly. It needs oxygen, it needs air so it doesn't get crunchy and crispy and start to like degrade. I mean, everybody's felt that yarn from 1970 that's just degraded. It's not even that it's dry rotted, it's just degrading because it's been improperly stored. But yarn, for the most part, can last forever if well stored. Washi tape, jewel drops, stickers, these don't last forever. And I'm getting to the point where some of my supplies are becoming very mature. As I was doing my Christmas projects, one of my rolls of washi tape, now granted it was cheap, and at Michael's is at the point they broke down these packages and are selling them by the roll in the store. Don't buy those. They're old. But yeah, the pack of washi tape that I bought that had all the seasons in it and all the holidays in it, I tried to pull out one of the Christmas ones and it had no stick. It was a dead washi tape. I have a lot of supplies like that that are maturing to the point of I'm either need to use it or lose it. So I really am trying to make a concerted effort this year to actually use what I have, and it's not just yarn. It's fabric, it's yarn, it's washi tape. In 2018, I did something very, very similar, but I had just started paper crafting. So I didn't know what I needed, what I was going to use, what I wasn't going to use. I didn't buy fabric, I didn't buy yarn, and I didn't buy stashable goods. And that's kind of how I'm going to look at this. If it's something I'm buying to immediately use and I don't have something similar already. So I can't say, oh, I love this paper pad for Christmas. I have 40 Christmas pads in my guest room closet. Same thing with Halloween. Now, Valentine's and Easter, I don't have quite as many. I'm getting a Facebook call and I can't really answer that right now. That just totally made me lose my train of thought. So no stashable goods. I have to make a concerted effort to use what I have and really focus in on not so much de-stashing, but using my non-lengthy goods up. So there might be some giveaways on the channel. There might be some, here's a lot of stuff that I know I'm not going to use that I can't sell as new. Do y'all want to buy this lot? We might do some of that this year. I really want a reduction in my overall stash. I mean, it's gotten a little embarrassing again. And part of it, you know, once again, as bad as I feel about it, as guilty as I kind of feel about my purchasing of things, I'm also not guilty because when I look at like all of these yarns right here, I pick up my whole stand. All that on the bottom shelf. Second, everything from here over was $1 a ball or less. I mean, yeah, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 24 balls here. More here. More. I mean, that's a lot of money that went out. It's a lot of consumption overall. But it's an investment to my continued crafting because some of these colorways are discontinued. Some of these are no longer available. And how many opportunities are you going to get to buy, even if it's something you only sort of kind of like, but really do like and would use for $1 a ball? And a lot of my yarn stash is purchased in that manner. Some of these carrying cakes I got for $1.50. Some of these candy shops I've gotten for under $2. So, I mean, my overall purchasing, like, cost-wise isn't high, but space-wise it is. And I'm hitting that weird point where, like, I can't get to the projects I really want to do because I'm so distracted with everything else. So I would like to see a reduction overall. And with the paper crafting stuff, I am worried some of those supplies are getting stale. So the ban is an all-encompassing ban. No stashing. No stashables. One in, one out. If there is something that just, I have to have it, I have to have stuff leave from another place in my hoard crafts. I do have some large projects planned for paper crafting outside of cards. I have some journals that I really want to get put together for usage over the year. I have pre-planned some Christmas projects. I have pre-planned some gifting projects. So I really want to start getting things out. Cleaning my space. As I continue going through, you know, I have gifted a lot of stuff with the move. And as I've unpacked, you know, I keep finding repeats of things like glitter. Who needs 4 different kinds of microfine red glitter and repeats of more than that? I had like 4 things of the Michael's Recollection Microfine Red Glitter. It was 3 containers of that. 3 containers. And I mean, we're talking big containers of microfine glitter. So as the year progresses, there might be some things like that, like I said, I might put out for a giveaway. I might put up as a PayPal me the money, I'll ship it to you. Here's a lot of random stuff for $15. I will ship it to you. Pay me shipping and I'll send it to you. I feel cluttered and I want to declutter, but I want to, this isn't, products I don't like that I want out of my life. These are products I really love and want to use, but I really need to not buy new stuff until I'm done with the old stuff. Yeah. So that kind of explains the craft ban in general. Once again, this is another 30-minute video, and 90% of it is me just running my mouth off. As the year progresses, I will add, there are other things I already know I have forgotten to put on here. So I will continue adding to my list of goals. And as we do quarterly updates, I'm going to do that again this year. I will update you with what I've added in, what I've completed, what I haven't completed. Yeah, I almost just knocked y'all straight in my lap. Anyway, if you guys want to participate with me in the Great Stash Down of 2020, I will start a hashtag on Instagram at some point. I used Stash Down of 2019, but I didn't really stash down this year like I had planned. But I will start a hashtag on Instagram for the Great Stash Down of 2020. If you want to participate, that's great. For me, it's the Great Stash Down. I love using that, especially when I'm incorporating all of my crafting, not just one. You don't have to follow my rules. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. But if your goal is to de-stash, I would love to see your projects. I would love to see what you're working with. So I am going to get that set up. You could also just use hashtag HappyCraftyHomemaker. I use that on Instagram all the time. So if you want to, if you guys want to share with me what you're working on, just use the hashtag HappyCraftyHomemaker. I will see that. You can also just, tag me directly at Carrie Penny. I think I'm just randomly talking on. I'm now getting to the point like I'm starving. And I made biscuits last night, so I'm thinking about having an egg and cheese biscuit with sausage. I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm definitely very, very hungry. You guys take care. I will see you guys real soon. Happy New Year. I hope it has gotten off to a wonderful start for you guys, and I look forward to seeing your projects for this year. Love you guys.